Hello, 5th and 6th grade. It is your history video for Monday, November 9th. And we are going to only do, believe it or not, 2 questions on page 82, the first 2 questions there. Some of those will come, well, most of the rest of them will come from page number 10, well, the page that we're going to be reading tomorrow, which is, I believe, let's see what pages they are, 110 and 111. But some of that will come from the other pages as well when you get to that bottom section where you're matching the terms with the correct description. And so the only 2 that you have there are the 3 gods that Hindus consider to be the most important are blank, blank, and blank. And then the Rig Veda is a collection of blank, blank, and blank. The next one, number 3, is on the next part of the reading. And then some of the terms are there, but wait until we get to the next reading for tomorrow, because this is really one lesson divided into 2 parts that I did for you. So we're going to read starting on page number 106. So if you turn there in your book, and we'll read this together. Sort of did this a little bit today at school, so when we were doing the thing in reading about studying how to take notes or how to understand things. All right, so starting on page number 106, it says, Religions of Ancient India. Hinduism. The nomadic Aryans likely encountered different peoples and cultures as they traveled. As the Aryans settled in India, they adopted many beliefs and customs from other people groups. The Aryans developed various groups of religions called Hinduism. Hinduism spread across India and still exists today. This religion was not fully formed until after the time of Christ. However, its beliefs and practices quickly grew to influence the Indians' entire way of life. Now, your secret word, which is right here at the beginning, and probably some of you, if you're just skipping through trying to find it, you're not going to find it. It is nomadic, N-O-M-A-D-I-C, nomadic. All right, so beliefs and practices. Hinduism is often used to describe the religion of India. Like many other ancient religions, Hinduism is polytheistic. Hindus worship thousands of gods, but they consider 3 gods to be the most important. The 3 gods are Brahma, the creator, Shiva, the destroyer, and Vishnu, the preserver. Hindu religions do not all share the same beliefs or practices. Sometimes the beliefs of various Hindu groups contradict each other. These contradictions do not bother Hindus. They think that what seems to contradict may actually harmonize in another dimension of reality. For instance, some Hindus believe that gods are persons. Other Hindus believe that God is a divine being that permeates everything. Brahman is not to be confused with the Hindu god Brahma. Brahman, not to be confused with the Hindu god Brahma, is both the cause and the material of creation in Hindu beliefs. The concept of Brahman contradicts the biblical record of creation where God created everything from nothing. Brahman is not a personal being, so he is often called the Great Soul or the World Soul. Hindus believe that everything in the world, including plants, animals, and gods, is part of Brahman. This belief is pantheism. The majority of Hindus are very concerned about doing their duty. Their religious duties, or dharma, require them to always behave in a certain way. Most Hindus follow their religious practices diligently. They pray, perform rituals, worship at Hindu temples and shrines, and bring sacrifices and money to the priests. Some Hindus try to become holier by disciplining their bodies. They seclude, starve, and inflict pain on themselves in an attempt to make their souls purer. By following these practices, the Hindus hope to be good enough to eventually become one with Brahman, the world's soul. Next page, page number 107. We'll start with Hinduism at the top. It says, something is wrong with the world. Every religion acknowledges this fact and seeks to provide a solution to the problem. The solution in Hinduism is to progress through the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, or what's known as reincarnation, until the person is finally released from the law of reincarnation and becomes one with Brahman. In order to be released from the law of reincarnation, Hindus do good works to gain good karma. They also use meditation to understand Brahman better. Christians also recognize that there is a problem with the world, but the problem is not being ignorant of Brahman, nor is the problem being trapped in a cycle of reincarnation. The problem is sin. Because all people are sinners, there is much evil in the world, and each person is under God's judgment. The Christian hope is not just to escape from this sinful world. The Christian hope is that Christ will redeem people and will fix this broken world. All right? Excuse me. Underneath that box then. right, continuing with the video, it says another part of Hinduism is reincarnation. How a person is reincarnated depends on the karma he has built up in his present incarnation, so the time that he was in flesh. Karma is the result of one's good or bad deeds. A person who does good deeds will build good karma. Someone who has done evil or failed to do his duty builds bad karma. Because most Hindus believe in reincarnation, many of them seek to increase their good karma through good works. A Hindu usually accepts the social class into which he was born. He is born as the reward or punishment for his works in his past lives, and he tries to do good works so that his future lives will be better. The written legacy. The ancient Hindus left a written legacy called the Vedas. These books were written in Sanskrit. The Sanskrit word Veda means knowledge. The Rig Veda is the oldest Veda. It was composed around 1500 BC. This Veda was passed orally from one generation to the next. The Rig Veda was written down around 300 BC and is one of the earliest known books in the world. The Rig Veda is a collection of hymns, prayers, and poems. It tells of the rituals and the philosophy of ancient Hinduism, and it shows that ancient Indians enjoyed beauty and artistry. All right, and so if you look at the top right there, it says a passage from the Rig Veda, and it says, here is an English translation of a passage from the Rig Veda. It is taken from a hymn addressed to the Ushas, the Hindu goddess of dawn. The last two lines might seem similar to a psalm in the Bible, but a closer look at this passage reveals important differences. What false ideas are promoted in this Hindu hymn? So it says, dawn on us with prosperity, O Ushas, daughter of the sky. Dawn with great glory, goddess. Light, lady of the light, dawn thou with riches, bounteous one. For in thee is each living creature's breath and life. And so hopefully you can recognize that what's wrong with that is that in that particular part in those last two lines there, it's talking about that the goddess gives the life as opposed to God giving the life that they need. Now, if you look on the next two pages, they are 108 and 109, and right across from each other, although not in my book, they're not, but it says science and language, and it talks about things that they use, the metal they use, the tin and copper to make bronze. They forged tools and weapons, and they made lightweight two-wheeled chariots. They also practiced medicine and were knowledgeable about astronomy. They named many stars and planets. Sanskrit was their written language. People created hymns, poems, and prayers. And then social classes and job specialization. Ancient India had nobles and peasants. Later, the caste system divided people into groups that they would remain in for their entire lives. A person on a lower caste could not get a better job or marry someone in a higher caste. Excuse me. Boy, yawning today. There were many occupations in ancient India. The highest castes included positions such as religious leaders, warriors, and rulers. The middle castes included farmers, traders, and artisans. Laborers and servants belonged to the lowest castes of people. There were also outcasts. These outcasts included people who worked with meat and those who had been expelled from their own caste. Justice. In many villages, the Raja and a council of leading men carried out justice. Later, kings ruled over city-states and were responsible for punishing wrongdoers. They give you different things that are happening there. And then on the other page there, religion. Ancient Indians practiced animism. They worshipped spirits that they believed lived in stars, stones, rivers, animals, trees, and mountains. Over time, they developed Hinduism. Hindus do good works in the hope of being reincarnated to a better state in the next life. Buddhism also started in India. Organized cities and government. Ancient India had a mix of villages and large cities. However, the villages did not form strong central governments like the large cities did. Each village was governed by a council of leading men and a headman. Under Hinduism, only those in the highest caste were allowed to rule or hold positions in government. And in art, it said ancient Indians wove cloth and made decorated pottery. They made statues and ornate towers such as the Gopura that marks the entrance to a Hindu temple in southern India. The environment there, it says India has fertile land and abundant rivers. The Himalayan mountains form a natural barrier from countries in the northeast. All right, well, that's your video for today. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at school. Bye.